All right, greetings, Facebook, greetings, and welcome to Adult Sex Ed Online with Sister Reaches on Dr. O. So, tonight's topic includes a conversation around lubrication. Yes, we're keeping it juicy tonight. So, let's start at the beginning and bust some myths. So, many people have this attitude that if they need to use lubricant, they're somehow sexually deficient. It's like something's not right. This is an erroneous thought pattern. We shouldn't assume that lubrication is in direct proportion with somebody's arousal. All right, this isn't always the case. Sometimes somebody can be super excited, but they may not necessarily be super wet. So that's not always a linear occurrence, and just want to make sure we get some, do a little myth busting around that. Also, persistent dryness during sexual intercourse can stem from a number of different things. So yes, dryness can be an indication that a person might benefit from more foreplay, but a lack of natural lubrication can be brought on by a number of things. It could be stress, it could be dehydration, it can be some other type of health condition, it can be treatments that somebody is receiving for some type of health condition, it could be menopause, it could be some type of medication that a person is taking. So it's a lot of reasons why a person might not necessarily be exhibiting natural lubrication. But it's not an indication that the person has something wrong with them or that they're not excited. All right. And lastly, any type of creams, other type of candies, fruit, these different items that are supposedly there to increase wetness. I mean, that could be possible in some people. I don't encourage it from a sexual health standpoint, in the sense that it can cause irritation, it can alter your pH balance, it can cause you to have all other types of different difficulties. And so I would suggest that we stick with something that is on the market that's hypoallergenic, and we'll talk about some other alternatives as we go on in our conversation. Okay, so what are the facts? At the end of the day, there is research out there that shows that 65.5% of women and 70% of males use lubricants. So just know, this is not an indication that something is the matter with you. If you are using lubricant, actually you are on the path to safer and healthier sex. In fact, according to a study done at the University of Indiana, 70% of 2,000 women surveyed said that lubricant made sex more pleasurable. And so there you have it. There's numbers, there's research out there that lets us know that this lube thing is part of making things nice and juicy. So why do I need lubricant? Somebody might ask. Well, lubricant decreases friction and thus decreases pain, discomfort, or any tearing that a person might experience during sexual contact. So you need it regardless of your sexual orientation. You need it as a means to prevent sexually transmitted infections. And no matter if you use condoms, diaphragms, or dental dams, lube can help reduce friction and make sex more pleasurable for you and for your partner. So when it comes to sex, no matter what you enjoy, you can usually play by the following rule: the wetter, the better. You heard it here first, y'all. Make sure that you are lubing it up, all right? Because sex is not a no-risk game, but you can minimize your risk by using lube, okay? All right, moving on. So what are the types of personal lubricant? Well, when you're out there shopping, you'll want to think about the different types of lube that's out there when you're choosing something that's best for you. So, just like you don't buy your shoes and your vegetables in the same place, you got to shop around for your lubricant as well. Lubricant can come in a variety of bases. You've got your water-based lubricant, silicone-based lubricant, oil, hybrid, which is a combination of either of those previously stated. So, an example of a hybrid lube could be like Babeland Silk, which runs about $10 to $20. But it's a combination of water and silicone base. So you have elements there of both, and there's different formulations that you can find out there that's suitable for whatever your needs are, depending upon how you get down and the things that you have going on. So let's break down each of these lubes so you can have a better understanding of what's available to you. So water-based. Basically, water-based lube is known as the most versatile lubricant. Water-based lube can be used practically in any sexual activity that you can come up with. So even ones involving silicone toys. Water-based lubes are also safe to use with condoms, and both latex or non-latex condoms. So basically, water-based lubricant decreases any challenges that you might have with condom breakage. So it's good to make sure that you keep that in mind as you are getting it on. This type of lube is also most popular for the following 3 reasons. It won't stain your sheets. Ha! There you go. That's saving you money on your detergent and everything. It's also easy on your skin if you are a person who is sensitive, has sensitive skin, then that water-based lube is where it's at. And then it obviously washes off easily in water. Talking about silicone-based lube, you're going to want to try a lube that is sensitive to your sensitive areas. So silicone lube is hypoallergenic, and that's gonna give you some protection if you are a person who has sensitive skin or any type of allergies. But most people don't experience any type of reaction. Not everybody, but most people don't experience any type of reaction, in response to using silicone-based lube. But this type of lube lasts longer. Obviously, water-based lubricant is going to evaporate and you'll need to reapply. Whereas silicone-based lube, not so much. I don't know though. You might have to put a little bit more on depending upon how excited things get. Anyway, if you're interested in something more long-lasting that needs to be reapplied less, then silicone is going to be the best way to go. This is great for all types of sex with high levels of friction, like fingering or fisting or shower sex, because it doesn't wash away with the water. Things of that nature that can get highly energetic. You might want to keep things moving kind of easily. Silicone is going to be a good match for you. Silicone in your lube can deteriorate the surface of your silicone toys though. So this is not going to be a good match if you are using toys that are silicone based. And what happens is that it breaks down that surface and causes abrasions or breaks, and that's where bacteria can grow, and it can be problematic if you're using toys, especially if you share toys or you use your toys with more than one partner. So you want to make sure that if that's the case, that you're using a water-based lubricant and that you are cleaning your toys between uses. You also need to know that you can't use latex condoms with your toys. So, it's all about making sure that everybody that's involved is safe. And so if you're using toys, make sure that you are covering them and that you're not using silicone on silicone, if that helps. We could talk more about that. If you have questions, feel free to just post your questions. Oil-based lubricant. If you're the type that, doesn't want to be bothered with stopping and reapplying, you just want to get it on and not have to keep changing up then oil-based lubricant might be a good option for you. And plant-based oil lubricant is known for its long-lasting properties. So again, if it's the type of thing to where you don't want to have to stop after you get started, then you might want to consider this. Oil-based lubes can double for sexy and fun massage time too. So like if you're into touch and things like that, then you can also do a little massage, heat it up, do a little massage there. But the downside comes if you're using like a latex condom, because oil based lubricants break down condoms and cause breakage. So it kind of defeats the purpose if you're trying to be safer, if you're going to use this type of lubricant, because then you're raising your risk by putting those two together. So just make sure that if you're going to choose an oil-based lubricant, that you also keep in mind that you compromise your condoms with doing that. The other thing is with oil-based lubricants is that sometimes there can be higher rates of STIs, like BV or bacterial vaginosis, like things like that, because the oil is sort of a breeding ground for bacteria and things like that. So you want to make sure that you take into consideration what the risks are with each of these different types of lube, so that you're making the best decision for yourself. The other thing is you're going to have to get you some Tide because oil tends to stain your sheets and clothing, and it can be problematic to clean up. However, each person has to do what's best for them, and so I'm just giving you options. So make sure that you keep that in mind as you are making your decision. There's also natural lube. So sometimes, folks are concerned about the different products and what the ingredients are in different products. So if you're worried about that and making sure that you're not putting anything that you feel is dangerous on your private areas, then you want to make sure that you look into natural lubes. Basically, it's a lubricant that has a low number of ingredients on its list of ingredients. And one suggestion that I found when getting ready for this conversation was Sliquid Organics Natural Lubricating Gel, which I had not prior to tonight heard of, but it is a vegan, paraben-free option, and it doesn't have a smell, doesn't have a taste, and that is a good example. It had high ratings in terms of users who were satisfied with that particular type of lube. Another option is coconut oil, which is pretty popular. But if you have any type of allergies or anything like that, then of course coconut oil is not going to be the best option for you. However, it is quite popular. Again, stains your sheets, increases the incidence of condom breakage, and there's a possibility of STIs and things like that. So just want to make sure that you know all of the risk with your choices. So let's talk a little bit about personal lubricants and condom compatibility. So I kind of touched on this a little bit as I was going through the different types of lube, but keep in mind oil-based substances like baby oil, baby lotion, anything that is oil-based is going to degrade the effectiveness of a latex condom. It's going to decrease its effectiveness. So you want to keep that in mind. If depending upon what your sexual goals are, if your goal is to prevent pregnancy, then you just want to keep that in mind as you're choosing which type of lube that you want to use. It is suggested that if you're going to use latex condoms as your barrier method, that you use water-based lubricants. So that's just, some information and food for thought for you. Also, talking about personal lubricants and anal sex. And we know that anal sex can be between, different types of partners. So just so that we're sex positive and making sure we're inclusive in our conversation, anal sex for all. Yay! All right, moving on. Lubricants have historically been championed as the best choice for use during anal sex, especially in the case of reducing the risk of STIs. So you want to definitely make sure that if you are having anal sex, that you are using lube. The theory behind this advice is that lubricants reduce the friction that occurs during rectal intercourse and decreases those small tears that can happen in the rectal lining. And so, this is, basically reducing your risk of becoming infected with an STI. Silicone-based lubricants are known as a dermoprotective. So basically, they kind of seal the surface of the skin. So if that is your sex of choice, then I would encourage you to lean more towards silicone lubricant so that you have that added protection. Because as I mentioned, water-based lubricant does evaporate and you have to reapply, and silicone lasts longer. So there's just some benefits to those particular choices. There's also some information out there about lubricants and fertility. And so there's two different camps of thought around personal lubricant and fertility. And one conversation suggests that the integrity of sperm is compromised when a person uses a certain type of lubricant. So did some research, found that there is a recommended lubricant for folks who are in fertility treatment, and that lubricant is called Pre-Seed. So PRE-seed, SEED. And it's been scientifically tested and did not appear to cause any damage or compromise sperm for those folks who are attempting or undergoing fertility treatment. So that's just a recommendation out there from sexual health experts around which lubricant is best if that is the place where you are coming into the conversation around fertility. I would suggest also that you are mindful that you speak with your medical provider and make sure if you have any concerns about, what lubricant to use and its effects, that you talk with your medical provider. Make sure that you have some good information and some recommendations to go on, before proceeding. So, in review of our conversation, we talked a little bit about some myths. Nothing's wrong with you. If you so choose to use lube, please, by all means, use your lube. You need it. All right. We talked a little bit about why it's important for folks to use lubricant, and again, that is to decrease friction and decrease any pain or discomfort that might be associated with dryness of any kind. And you need lube regardless of your sexual orientation. So yes, our LGBT family, lube it up. Thanks. All right. This is also a preventative measure that is there to prevent the spread of STIs. So again, we're going to be sexually responsible. We want to make sure that we lube it up, folks. All right. And when it comes to condoms, make sure that you make a good decision about which type of lubricant you want to use, so that your condoms can be as effective as possible. I saw somebody's reaction. What was that wow face? Do I need to bring you on, Miss Karen? What questions do you have? But make sure that you are using your lube, folks, because this is about preventing the spread of STIs. This is about making sure that we have pleasurable sex, as well as it's about making sure that we are in a position to accomplish our sexual goals. Just in review, going back over the types of personal lubricant, there's water-based, silicone-based, oil-based, and hybrid. And as I said, water-based is most often the recommended type of lubricant. However, again, depending upon what your sexual goals are, you may choose to go with one of the other options. Just keep in mind that if you choose an oil-based product, that latex condoms can be less effective with those types of options. All right, folks. Looks like we have. Do we have any questions out there concerning personal lubricant? I'm so lonely. And you can always go back and look at these recordings again. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me via email at orisha, ORISHA, at sisterreach.org. Or you can reach me on Facebook via inbox messenger if you have any questions about anything we've talked about tonight. And I can still see your reactions and comments to this video. So if you want to leave your questions here, if you're okay with posting your questions publicly, you can leave them here and I'll be happy to respond to them at any time. But it looks like we have reached the end of our conversation. Alrighty, y'all. Have a great night. And thanks for coming in and tuning in.